Call upon our higher selves to be with us. Mother, Father, God, one infinite creator. Welcome our spirit guides and guardian angels to be with us. Welcome our power animals and enlightened, loving ancestor relations. We call upon Archangel Raphael to be with us in the east. Yidhe Shinra fame. Malek Raphael to bless our air elements, mental bodies. Benat Elohim angels to help us transmute any discordant negative thought forms that are for highest good to transmute, quarantine, and or extract throughout this journey and safely dispose of. As the angels have put these beautiful bubbles of light around us so that we can more easily align with the highest vibration. As the angels help protect our healthy boundaries so that we don't leak any of our personal shadow on anyone else in the circle, but help us transmute, properly relocate, heal and integrate throughout this journey. So we can be fortified mirrors of each other's highest potential, love and light actualized. Especially with this Aries new moon to help us balance out our relationship to power, any displacement of personal power, or any allocation of energy that may be going towards unhealthy feeding of habits or lower emotions, anger, control issues, power struggles. Yes, angels help us to reformat part of our identity to help us embody our highest expression, to help us not to use more wisdom so we don't feed the things that we want to be free of or transmute. At the same time, have the strength to balance will with love, freedom, expression, to help point us personally and collectively in the highest good direction. And the angels help us to buffer and smooth out, almost like ironing out the proper contours of our energy body from any previous. It's like as if we're all suffering from a bit of like energetic inflammation, like emotional, mental inflammation from all the different things that have gone on. So it kind of reminds me of like being like in a spherical bubble with like little curved points that kind of, that are inside that egg that point inward. Almost like think of like little mountains and little valleys. It's kind of like a waveguide idea here, or like a resonator. It's asking us to smooth out any contortions, distortions in our wave field geometries, so that we're not overly sensitive to certain things, maybe that we can kind of turn down the volume on certain aggravations, negative associations. Including anything that may be creating a kind of retractive energy that we need to balance out so we can feel more confident in our expressions, connections, extensions. Don't forget to breathe. Oh. Melech Michael in the south to be with us. Archangel Michael, Lord Archangel Michael. Bless our fire elements. Shemesh Malachim. Michael. Aralim, angels of Saturn. Also assist us in bringing more healthy structure to our life. Help us to deconstruct, burn away anything that we wish to be free from, so we can, it's almost like melting down, like recycling. It's like melting down all those different objects and things that may have been like misshapen forms in our life. And we can melt down as raw material to sculpt something more appropriate of what you want to embody in your life, express, connect. To dissolve this thing, any negative field frequency devices, constructs, thought forms that are for highest good to dissolve, uncreate and reshapen to a healthier mold, template that supports our highest good, to support the seeds of our new creation, the seeds for the new moon. To help us see clearly what the elements are so that we don't mix up elements for something less authentic or not appropriate. Like we don't want to have our fire energy be used against us individually, collectively. So as the angels give us wisdom to use our fire with greater discernment, healthy investment of time to be more clear to us, quantity, amount of fire, frequency of fire, color of fire. So that you don't want to burn down the crops of your new harvest of this new moon. Maybe you want to burn selectively some weeds, or the way the farmers or the firefighters used to do selective forest burning to help other areas grow more flourishingly. Like there's healthy deconstruction fire, like Mars energy, digestion. But if you have too much acid in your stomach, it's like too much fire. It's not good either, right? So giving us a little balance of our alkalinity. Be aware if any of those swords of your power might be pointing out in certain directions, or maybe pointing in for some of you where you may be imploding out of fear of not wanting to explode to others. That's angels of Michael, Camiel, Seraphim, Mars, Saturn, Safkiel. Help us to find discernment and balance of healthy restriction in terms of like creating structure, or you don't want to have scalding hot shower necessarily. So it's helping you to find balance and regulating your input and output of energetic flow. To enhance your divine glow and to remove any imprints or any access, localized or remote access, that any other individuals, entities, technologies may have, where they may have been manipulating some of your valves or some of your tuner dials, volume controls. Kind of like the idea of the shower again, as if someone had some remote control where they put the shower on too hot for you just to mess with you. So that's clearing out any negative imprints. As angels help us to clear off any fingerprints, handprints, signature prints, remote access prints to any of our frequency tuners, frequency volume control, so that we can balance out the expression of our elements without someone pushing your buttons in a negative way or trying to remotely manipulate your amount of or quality of fire element in this case, to regain control of the helm and of your ship, so that it's not just quote unquote victimized by your local environment, but that you can create more of a healthy climate from the presence of your ship's vibration, helping the local environment mirror your higher calibration to love oscillation. To, in other words, be more energetically proactive and creating more of a healthy vibrational ecosystem around you. It's like daring to become the sun instead of only the moon. Instead of just being too empathic and reflecting and picking up on things in the environment, choose to radiate more into the environment, what you wish the environment to be filled with, as opposed to only critiquing its lack. Especially with this Aries new moon, helping us to fine-tune our ability. I've said this before in previous Aries moons. When Aries came to me in the dreams years ago, he said the higher level of Aries energy is about creating a phase alignment of upper world and underworld, so then you can express it in middle world. So it's kind of like tweaking as above, so below idea, so that they're more lined up like the crests and troughs of the waves, and then you can synchronize it and express it in your manifest world, like upper world, galactic, reflecting in the cosmic ocean below, in the quantum level flow. We're as a bridge between those two extremes. So we ask the angels to help us to fully adjust our energetic size, so that if there's any erosion or corrosion we might have been experiencing from manipulations of the environment below us and above us, that's created a bit of an unequal reflection. You know, think of like looking at the star or the moon, sun reflecting on a body of water. But if someone's messing with the humidity or the temperature or putting other chemicals around or frequencies, it kind of like creates a more distorted image, so that the transmission isn't as clear to ground. So they're asking us also in this case, as if we're like, reminds me of like a inside a cave, the stalactites and the crystals that grow from the dripping of the minerals and the water and the gases, as if we're like a crystalline kind of geometric pillar that represents a co-creative process of energy flow from above and below coming in between. But because of some of these distortions, they said that they've tried to diminish our sense of self. So it's like squeezing our identity in a smaller box, or distorting the mirrors so that we only see smaller reflections. So in this case, it's like rising up and seeing yourself becoming a beautiful selenite crystal kind of wand pillar, to kind of create more equilibrium between the energy flow from below and above, crystallizing in between. Think of like snow or ice or hail forming. It's like, so we can properly gravitate, phase permeate through any challenges, so we can grow to the size that we're meant to be in a healthy, energetic manner, so that we represent a stabilization, they're saying, of love's crystallization. A stabilization of love's crystallization. A tuning into a new divine station. It's upgrading our fidelity of getting clearer signal, fuller spectrum of what love energy has to offer us, to get with us. And to fill in any frequency gaps that were back doors to attacks. There's more of this loving, crystallizing light. Rainbow angelic might. Help us set us free and help us to organize, they're saying, ourselves upon this night. to balance the flow of structure, form, and formlessness. If some of you have too much form or structure or clog energy in one area and not enough free flow energy in another area, or like too much structure in one area, not enough structure in another area of your life, like zodiac wheel, feng shui wheel. So it's asking us to balance out our elemental distribution. They're calling it a phase-aligned symmetry of like waves that flow from each direction to the next in a beautiful circle of like, imagine like being like a circle of like sine waves, of waves that go up and down, crescentos. It was a perfect, almost like orchestral illustration of your energy, of how you change and flow each day. Don't forget to breathe, especially into lower chakras, stomach area, any area where you might have felt too clogged or kind of like boulders in a river, an area where the rocks are too big and you're kind of blocking your flow and it's created a bit of a jam or side flow. To help us healthfully chip away at any overgrown kind of energetic tumors or energetic rocks, growths that may be blocking your kundalini, meridians, time flow, spinal flow. So call Archangel Gabriel to help us with this as well in the West, Archangel of water elements, emotional bodies, and also metal element wants to come in. Tungsten specifically. This has come in a few times. I have to go through some past sessions and figure out what that was about. There's a higher, some of these metals we have are lost of higher application, of course, in our modern science tells us about. There's a higher galactic application or higher, so tungsten can create more of a kind of like healthy, like buffer zone against negative frequencies in our background, kind of like a healthy creative hearth or protective like womb energy, sanctuary space. Gabriel Shaddai El Chaim. It's also like the metal urges, so like the blacksmith forging a sword or forging the metal, with the heat and the hammer and the fire and the water. It takes all the elements to help forge and carve the metal to a more utilizable format, function. So same thing. Sometimes we apply too much of one element, they're saying, in our life, and then we wonder why that project we're creating may crack or may not represent that artisan quality of perfection that we're seeking. It's like adding too much fire at the wrong time with the hammer and the sword, or intermittent heat. It's like can break the vase or break the sculpture that you're trying to sculpt, coalesce. Or like baking bread in the oven and putting on too much, changing the temperature too often, messing up the ability of the bread to even out or grow. Or in a very simple metaphor, some fairy energies coming. I said, if you're like, some of you are like race car drivers, always want to put your gas pedal 100 miles an hour, even if you're driving in a small city area where there's too many lights. That's not helpful. So it's understanding how to regulate your pressure on the gas pedal and the brake pedal so that you're more in balance with your objective. You don't want to crash before you get to your destination because you're too hyper or angry at the other people around you not catching up with you. So just breathe in deeper to stomach. It's like a releasing ah sound. It's like identifying your spiritual boat, they're saying. Oh, is my sound okay now? I got a little message from Sandy. Maybe because I was moving. I don't know. Weird. Sometimes it does that, I notice. Gabrielle Shadal Chai. Continue to help us release any energetic excess weight that some of you are carrying in your spiritual boats, so to speak. Is that some of you are like a cruise ship, but then you also have a big like garbage barge connected to your cruise ship, and it starts to like overflow into your cruise ship, and it's not a healthy balance of your environment internally. Think of like probiotics and healthy bacteria, healthy microbiome in the body. At the same time, on a mental and emotional level, you may be physically healthy, but you have too many negative emotions circulating around. It's the same idea. It's your water becomes too acidic to support the healthier, beautiful Caribbean-like energy you may want in your life. So it's asking us to be aware if you're lugging too much trash behind you energetically in your water body, astral body, or if someone's siphoning off any of your energy from behind. Actually, I had to clear this out this morning. Guide in my dream showed me that group BTI that I've talked about, that Bureau of Time Intelligence, that they put this, well, we've had to clear out these negative like astral machines that they sometimes put around people to try to siphon your energy. But this one was kind of tied as if I had like a fabric that I was walking with behind my feet in time, and they were attaching it to the back of the fabric, like as I'm dragging a piece of a rug, and the siphon is at the end of the rug, just pulling my energy. So as angels help us to clear out any astral, any negative astral quantum interfaces from any misapplied technologies, quantum entanglement, or higher 4D technologies. Angels help us to bag and tag, deconstruct any siphoning energy devices or negative field acclimatizer devices, anything that was trying to push you towards a negative orientation or spin rate. The angels help us to quarantine, deactivate, free ourselves from any of those unhealthy constructs, so we can have fuller access to our rightful reservoir of power, success, fulfillment, optimization of chi energy utilization, factorization of different variables in your life so you can make better decisions. Oh, I lifted up something there. You felt that? It's like an expansion. Like it was like this friggin' orbital constriction shit that was around us. So we felt like open up more as we're in this healthier, calling it a star heart quantum bubble, like a quantum bubble of light that holds galactic love from other civilizations with positive orientations to help remind you how much you're loved by so many other beings, so many other lineages that some of you've forgotten. Oh. Melech Uriel on the north to be with us, Archangel Uriel, beloved Uriel, to bless our earth element. What they're calling our fountain of equilibrium, energetic adjustments in our earth body, physical templating between our physical body and our bioenergetic bodies, bioenergetic components to our electrical fields, magnetic fields, quantum fields, to help us clear out any static or any, it almost looks like energetic, like shrapnel, or like, it's almost like symbolism of noise, like represent it graphically. So it almost looks like little like thorns, different colored thorns, or little like blades of not grass, but it's not grass, it's like too sharp or too little negative. Help us clear out any obscuring or negatively accentuating harmonic structures that may be trying to milk you in a certain way so you can produce a certain negative emotion reaction instead of what you really want to express or feel. To help you minimize any of those, and to minimize any of those surface charges, surface discharges on your auric body, on your electrostatic fields, on your electrons, protons, any negative electrostatic buildup. Angels help us to cleanse, lift us free from any negative kindling, anything that was trying to slowly manipulate or add that weight to your field or prepare you in a negative way to be more open to their projections, to be thwarted, transmuted. As for our loving electrostatic regulators, to balance out our charge, like your inner battery, so there's not clogging of your charge or leakage of your battery, so to speak. It's almost like having a car battery, or like a old battery that you kept in the closet too long, and it starts to like leak, and you have that little buildup on it, and it's not supposed to touch it because it's kind of like acid to your fingers, you know. Like clear out any of that kind of negative excretion, accretion. Little fairy came in. She's like, it's like cleaning off your sacred mushrooms, so to speak, from any negative buildup that might have accumulated around it, any negative toxic elements that might have seeped into the soil, on the ground, or in the air, to purify your inner magical kingdom so that it's not manipulated or contaminated by any negative energies, elements, periodic distortions, to be transmuted, sort of a healthy ecosystem to grow, so to speak, your inner healthy fungi, probiotics, elemental interface structures, healthy networks. Or it says like purifying the magic forest, mushroom kingdom from any negative shackles, jackals, binds, negativity, so that we can have a higher, more purified kind of group psychedelic experience of awakening, love light quakening, without the negative bad trip energies that might have been influencing it from any toxicity of metals, they're saying, especially any toxic metals or chemtrails, and to help us purify kind of like the astral energetic environment and its physiological corollary. So that we have a healthier, pristine environment to welcome humanity in when we have that group third eye opening, instead of having the scary thing that people have to see when they open up the third eye as a collective, have a pure environment against the background so that people can feel more of the higher, loving, positive extraterrestrials, angels, divine beings, as opposed to any of the negative, demonic, or other unwanted characters. And a certain amount they have to face, of course, to purge, but it's kind of like, you know, the deck has been stacked against people for too long, so it's balancing out that, you know, we don't want too many, like, it's like overexposure to negative video games, you know. It's like, so it starts to bias these star kids' third eyes to think that that's what they're expected to see on the higher realms when they open up their actual third eye instead of their VR lens. So it's like releasing any of those negative preconditionings that may have been brewing in the background that ultimately we have to face when we open our drawbridge from our castle to cross that moat across the abyss of time and space, to invite more divine grace, that we can help minimize that collective turbulence of the group hard awakening by asking these angels and guides to help clean out some of that background pollution that's present astrally, energetically, metallically. Otherwise, it's kind of like driving through a beautiful nature scenery, but your cars just went through a dark, you know, scary zone with too much mud and it's thrown in the windows, and you can't really see out your windows clearly how beautiful the environment really is until you actually clean your windows. And you start to over-identify with the gunk or the carcasses on your windows and think that that's everywhere around you, and it's just localized a little bit, you know. That's going to clean out some of that. It's not confusing like cesspool water for clean ocean water, you know. It's like, you know. So invoke a healthy distribution of love's charge, so to help us take more charge. That's funny how the word has a double so many meanings. Like taking charge of something in our life is in charge, like electrically, reclaiming that potency that we can apply constructively. Instead of having it manipulated by any unwanted act, react, manipulated sequences of how they're trying to divide people on the collective level. Oh, put some shit on my sequel. Angels help us clear out any negative serpent energies, any shadow serpents of any Apophis group, anything that might have been blocking any negative energetic belts or shadow serpents around any of our stomachs, sacral area. Angels help us to slice and dice, make some snake shish kebab here. Feed it to your power animals. Power animals assist us in being set free from any negative loops, hoops, and negative serpent or negative eel energies that need to be transmuted, eviscerated, evaporated, disintegrated. Including from any negative galactic realms. Angels free us from any negative galactic belts, any shadow belts that were trying to distort any of our orientations, individually, collectively. Anything that was trying to manipulate your quantum gravity or your center of gravity and have it linked to some more like a negative gravity of negative planets or negative groups, shadow troops to be transmuted. We don't want to beat in synchrony with negative gravity wave content from any dark collectives, terrestrially, extraterrestrially. Means to free us from any negative serpentine, any negative serpent humanoid ET groups influences of trying to hijack any of our center of gravity, individually, collectively, anything that was trying to loop us into any kind of negative Mobius band or infinity symbol loop. That's the angels help us break out to pull out from the middle of that infinity symbol. This came up from one client recently. That the belt buckle had some like negative black crystals that were like that were creating that negative infinity symbol field to try to loop people into this like lower negative past, present, future kind of, you know, shadow recirculating instead of the new energy. So asking her to pull out any shadow crystals, any dark star crystals, any dark time star crystals, any negative periodic modulator structures that we're trying to manipulate your brainwave states, nervous system states, like rhythmic entrainment in a negative way, to help us be free, to help scoop out, loving quarantine, remove any of those shadow crystals, any negative galactic belts that need to be purified, including removing any black sun discs that might have been like a cap on the belt buckle. So just remove, purify, to remove any negative periodic structures that might try to create a time loop and putting that back in your field to be removed. Any negative crystals that may be around any of you in a circle that was trying to resync you up to it a little while after you got rid of it. In other words, it was trying to like loop the implant back. Like the implant itself is in a time loop and it's trying to make you go in a loop. It's like a double layer. Like releasing any of those negative time crystals, anything that was trying to synchronize you to, we ask to desynchronize ourselves from any negative periodic structures, to desynchronize ourselves from the negative hyperspatial periodic constructs, devices that are negative, to be released. I have only positive reminders in time, synchronizing us, the vibration divine, love and light entwine. Tush, tush, tush. Like cleaning out our shoreline of your beach, of your personal island, your personal extension of your sovereignty space and time, like your island and time, things you've gathered in time that created this beautiful island that each of you have. This is a theme that's coming up lately also, is this idea of these islands in time that are forming, and this kind of reclaiming our rightful inheritances, legacies, prophecies, gifts, may constructively organize themselves into these islands of time. You know, it kind of reminds me a little bit like of is it like Minecraft, you know, game or something? With like build like a Sims game, but it's like happening in like the time domain. And the negative groups have been trying to take certain people's time energy or manipulate their energy that way so that they could build these shadow islands. You know, it's almost like psyops on a time level behind the scenes. You know, trying to manipulate the medium of time to serve certain agendas. So we're asking to bring more love and light to the landscape of time, where we can see visually as if it's like a multidimensional graph that's illustrating, you know, energy flow, ebbs and flows, sacred geometry in the realm of time, you know, to kind of crescendo and flow and grow so that humanity can feel more love and more support and more hope, to know that love is an option, to know that we can be free of any negative co-option. So it's saying, you know, to refortify our boundaries around our time field, around our island of time. Because that there was some of those negative, like almost like buoys in the ocean, almost like these negative like shadow oscillators that were moving up and down, trying to, you know, keep people more hypnotically locked up, you know, into more of a nightmare scenario, or instead of a dream, love, light, victory, united together. So angels help us to release, quarantine, lift up any negative shadow eye buoys that were trying to link people up to any dark vision, dark rays of any Illuminati groups, negative ET groups, Big Brother groups. Angels help us lift up any time manipulation technologies from BTI, Bureau of Time Intelligence, to be transmuted, negative apophis group, anything that was trying to unfairly manipulate the background medium of hyperspace and how we connect the interface between space and time, to be cleansed from any negative fields, any negative harmonic modulators, to be wrapped up, deconstructed, collapsed in. Around us and around the earth, they're saying, there's a bigger thing. We're doing it both personally, energetically, below, in all three worlds, to clean out any of these negative time pump devices. That's interesting way to put it. Almost like pumping in, like, is that they're trying to pump in sewage from other negative timelines to try to mess up the pH of our collective purification, potency, potential, so that we end up just feeding into that lower idea, like that we can't get out of this pollution loop energetically. You know, it's like, no, we don't need to. We can, as angels help us to close any of these negative back doors, any negative time pumps to be reprogrammed, so they can help us to open up positive synchronicity, love, light energy from other moments in time where you felt loved, shared love, mastery, accomplishments, enlightenments, higher cosmic connections, epiphany moments, joyful family moments, to help you build more of a beautiful network between those empowered points in time, so they can build up momentum and create this beautiful, like a beautiful light dragon that's coming in, that's like made of all of our crystallized love energy, that's like your personal time guardian animal spirit. Stop it. Help us to call on our time guardian spirit animal energies that represents that successful accumulation of love, light, energy that's that's creating this momentum, and this guardian totem animal that wants to protect our bounty in time that each of you have accumulated from your lifetimes. So it's like having your personal, it's almost like your anti-malware, guardian avatar that protects you from anyone trying to hack into your time bank, your love light crypto account that you've been accumulating for many millennia. Help you safeguard the potency and the poignant nature of your unique creations that each of you have decorated artistically, creatively throughout your journeys in time, to be expressed like your ultimate art installation show that each of us is being given a chance so we can co-create together a new vision board of certainty, of love infused in the future to the now. Open up a new canopy of the divine to shine into time. To protect us from any negative, unwanted rewind. To be free of any negative bind. Hammer of Thor to assist us. Legions of Thor. Valthusia, Arcturus, Legions of Thor, Asgard. Hammer of Thor to come and help give us like that electrical defibration shock of love and light to our heart, and to neutralize any of those shadow time pump technologies, shadow time buoys that are trying to manipulate waves from one reality to the other. The negative time pump rerouting roundabout structures that need to be transmuted, deactivated. It's as if they're trying to manipulate that wheel of time, so to speak, so that they're like almost like creating there's like negative permutations, rotations that we're trying to like almost like opening up corrals in the wheel of time that lead to certain other not so nice timelines. It's like manipulating the natural cyclical progression of how event sequences, energies are supposed to be accessed. So like they were trying to rig the game a little bit on their side, trying to, it's like the casino trying to rig the wheel of fortune or the roulette wheel to like work against you instead of work for you. So it's like asking the angels help us to remove any of these negative cross correlations of quantum associations. They may be manipulating the probability matrices in your life to support some negative AI agenda or digital compromise agendas. Shadow eye infiltration to be removed and reclaim full, as if that wheel of time is spinning in front of us like a drill and think of like a tunnel borer, or like it's opening up this beautiful light space in front of us. We ask to clean out this boring aspect of our field, like a tunnel borer, like your diamond body, the part of in front of your field that spins. Because time is like a wave that is polarized, it's spinning as if it's like drilling into the future in a good way. So asking to remove any negative filaments, anything that was trying to manipulate your ability to spin forward in time, like a beautiful, almost like reminds of like a submarine creating a spiral of water in front of it to kind of glide through. It's like anything that was trying to contaminate or manipulate your ability to align with the divine spin of time. To be removed, transmuted, the highest good. Wow, I didn't even get to the rest of the archangels yet, Jesus. Oh. On Archangel Sandalphon below us, Archangel Sandalphon. Bless our inner earth connections. Strength and love light manifold below us. Help us clean out any negative clustering or any negative clustering of any shadow energies that may have It's almost like they're trying to converge negative. Think of like if your island again, island of time, as if they were trying to manipulate the currents on the ocean of time to bring from multiple directions these different like pollutant or like negative creature filled waters to your shoreline. So it's like going to reclaim the power of divine protection, qualification, to choose our channel with wisdom, that we're not here to choose any negative Times Square advertising billboard of all these shadow reality options or fear options. As if it's like 100 screens on one big screen. It's like, no, we're deconstructing that negative quantum computer, digital analytics, or rerouting from negative timelines to be reversed, to clean out any of those hypercube energies. So we act like positive windows in time, positive gravity windows. So we could bring beautiful, healthy ecosystem energies to our island, healthy feelings, healthy thoughts, healthy creations, healthy relationships, opportunities, coworkers, affiliates, friends. To create more of this healthy circulation. To clean out any of that lower kind of sewage or waste dumpster energy that might have collected below us and on any level from that previous convergence of negative vectors into our sector to be reversed, to reverse that tide, to reverse that momentum. So anything that was trying to clog up your channel below you or in your lower chakra so you weren't able to fully feel Gaia's love coming up, as if they were trying to clog your wellspring or like your primordial shaft of energy connection from below. Quantum love flow. Help us get that chelation, like your snake for your drain, clean out any of that accumulated waste below you, starting from your waist. And accumulated waste in your waist. They said we don't need that. They're as if they were trying to turn some of our sacred love islands into like, sewage islands to try to weigh down our star seeds frequencies from properly shining to the masses. So we're like, F you, man. We're going to claim back our full star heart crystals, beacons of love to shine through our islands so we can be like tremendous beacons, crystalline towers that go into the inner earth, into all the quantum realm of possibility, probability, maybe a convergence of love energy, sending ripples of light below, the manifold of time, deep in the ground below, bipolar streams above us, shooting up and down. The angels, galactic allies, to help us to clean up our landscape of our island of time from any of those previous shadowy grime or slime, our trashy energies to be quarantined, decontaminate our islands of time from any radioactive slime or grime, to clean out any radioactive gooey looking energy that might have been put in some of your islands of time. That was like creating like negative leaks in time, like the radioactive energy can create like leaks in time or pinholes. Let's see, and this help us too, or is symbolic of that negative coalescence of shadow energy from different time periods that was kind of made into that toxic kind of goo. Help us to transmute, so nasty. Help us to quarantine, package up, safely discharge, dispose of any of that negative nano material, shadow waste accumulation to be properly recycled, discarded, disposed of with our angelic garbage dumpster teams, garbage crew team here, our light ships, angelic garbage removal team ships, bioetheric stabilizer ships to help us restabilize our trips, to be free from any shadow grips, heal any temporal rifts, to help us recenter from any negative drifts. Holy shit. So adjusting like the tectonic plates in the Gaia and the Mother Earth's body below us, adjusting like as if it's like vertebrae of Gaia's body being adjusted to help heal some of that negative encoded nano memory, templating induction sequences to be transmuted so that Gaia doesn't need to keep holding that shadow energy of humanity's collective experience or nature in her crystals anymore, which, because that's adding to some of the earthquake energies, it's like that charge needs to be discharged. It appears electric kindling. So angels help us to transmute some of that charge for highest good so that the crystals in the earth and the granite below us in New York City, other locations, or those watching or meditating with us at this time, to shine that healing funnel of light into the inner earth, into the crystals where you live at, below ground, layer by layer, striation by striation. So almost as we get to like this liquid light pouring, like almost like liquid magma plasma. It's like plasma mixed with like magma. It's like really nice, almost like a gelatinous glowing light around it. It's like burning through any negativity below ground and helping to re-solidify good energy in the crystals below ground so that the crystals in the earth can harbor more safe zone frequencies, love light, excretions from previous temporal moments, the same way that we're doing with ourselves, so that Gaia can help support humanity in her body by weaving more love and light from other time periods that can help us move constructively forward into our ascension, love and light, free of negative dissension, to build a more sustainable foundation for love's erection in all modes of life, all sectors of life, all forms of life. You may know that that is an immediate option. Tush! To clean out any negative sectorization of time from around us and below us, as if we're going deeper into inner earth. It's like clearing out anything that was like creating negative pressure from many different directions. This looks like the longitudinal or like scalar wave weapons, because it looks like this different beams of energy hitting certain parts of inner earth crystals to kind of create this like isolation, like a caging, so that there's less ability for the energy to migrate the way it's supposed to move. So it's like this temporal caging. I've seen it before when they were trying to use some of the newer smart technology, some of the newer nanobots, I should say, technology to try to create these quantum time cages in people. So that's angels help us to help Gaia and humanity re-leverage itself in a good way to pop off any of these negative crystallization of negative pressure waves or quantum dampening fields that we're trying to diminish Gaia's light from shining fully through time into our local space. As if they were trying to add like lampshades to your lantern, you know, they were like inserted in time. That's to remove any of this negative attempt to occlude our brilliance, our natural native light from shining freely upon each night. To remove any of those negative, unhealthy time constructs, time binds. For Gaia spinning energy below, like a vortex below a vortex, to help unspin, undo, uninstall any of those structures. So these windows in time that Gaia naturally has can shine more love and light from within to without being diffused or blocked. Oh, Jesus, thirsty. Don't forget to drink water, people watching or meditate. Gotta lubricate those wheels of time. Oh, shit. Our temporal recausation team. It's like healing the pathways of causation, affecting causation. it's being manipulated when they're trying to amplify too many negative things to create an unfair bias in that wheel of causation. Oh, holy shit. I feel like going down into earth, like popping off, it's going to our spine too from above. It's like clearing out any of those negative quantum drones, shadow stones from blocking your healthy flow around your vertebrae of your spine. Help clean out any negative quantum nano wiring. You can hold hands actually, or close to each other, or touch feet if you're too far away. If you want, either feet or hands. Or you can do this with the sword. There you go. It's fine. Is that nice? Starheart Guardians of Geb, Father Earth, Starheart Guardians of Geb, free us from any shadow or nefarious web or thread. Help us undo any negative infiltration of any shadow threads into our web of creation for highest good at this time, to free us from any stagnation so we can reclaim our love light elation. Star Nation connection can be restored, upgraded. Galactic Elohim Tower of Lights. Melech Metatron above us, Archangel Metatron to bless our crown chakra. Melech Metatron. Chayot HaKodesh, Angels of Unity. I am that I am, Aheya Asher Aheya. To remove any shadow stones of uncertainty, they're saying. To remove any shadow stones of uncertainty, doubt, or negative beguilings. Beguiling is a good word.
What does it mean?
When you're beguiled, it's like negative plotting, bewitching. It's like maniacal, like really like dark, agenda. Help us be free of any shadow stones of uncertainty, doubt, or negative beguilings, or maniacal dialings. So we can dial into proper positive stations of reality, free of any dark scientist plots to create clogs and droughts. The guides, further remove any shadow stones. Anything that was trying to create this kind of like, we had a little bit of that before, that dark cemetery stuff come up before, any kind of like almost like old school like emo, any kind of like shadow depressing energy where they're trying to make you feel like, oh, I'm just standing by my like cemetery of old tombstones or shadow stones that represent like almost like a negative vision board of like shadow sabotage or negative patterns that are still propagating. And it's like, well, help us to deconstruct any negative version of a Stonehenge that may be around you, any shadow stone circles or shadow stone megalithic structures. They may have been forged in the shadow annals of time and written with dark script to be transmuted. That's some heavy shit. It helps us to transmute any kind of almost like shadow druid magic type of stuff, or shadow ancient dark Nephilim language inscribed on the stones. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Help us to transmute, help us to deconstruct, like an eraser, to clean any shadow scripts from any previous negative trips in any lifetime, including healing any negative barges. Looks like a negative barge, boats, any negative barges that we're trying to bring. I don't know what that's about, some weird holding like waste energy in these energetic barges. Anything that was trying to dump negative energy through any of this dark Merkaba technology or negative ship symbolism. This angels help us to lift up, transmute. Oh, it's almost like, it's like Pluto's mythology, where like you cross the river Styx in the Greek mythology when you die, and you have like, it's like the, what's his name, the one who helps you cross the river in his boat. So it's like a distortion of the idea of like crossing from one realm to the other. or from life to death and vice versa. So like healing any distortion of that boundary zone between life and death, or time, timelessness, time. Help us heal, release any of this, any interstitial distortion, any manipulation of the in-between boundary spaces again, in between spectrums, in between layers of reality. Help us remove any of those negative time reminders, any negative things that we're trying to stand outside of time, yet using moments and previous time that were negative against us to be transmuted. We don't need any negative floating, dark advertiser. It's almost like Lord of the Rings, like Sauron meets like a dark advertiser marketing group, We don't want any negative like Lord of the Rings, dark magic, 42nd Street version against us, When we remove any of these negative like billboards in time, any of these shadow constructions that we're trying to manipulate your choices. See them diminishing the size. Beautiful elven clan, galactic elven humanoid guardians. They're more than that. They're beautiful, tall galactic humanoid beings. Angelic, the pointy ears. They deal with it higher unicorn energy, higher mystical times of Avalon. They've come before for some people. It's a realm they call Exiliatar. Exiliatar. Exodian. Exiliatar. Galactic star nations of meta mythos. Positive mystical power. Help us build these positive bridges again. Help us diminish with positive galactic. It's like the minds of like the 12 elves from like the Nordic mythology, like from Elfheim, but like next level. To help us diminish any shadow troll language or any shadow elven languages that might have got misused, or any corruption of sacred alphabets. Kind of like how you have like angelic alphabets, or you can think of like ones like Enochian magic a bit, or like how they can distort like light language or make like a shadow demonic language instead of a light language. So asking us to heal, diminish any of these negative stones that might have had those negative reminders on it, or negative broadcaster sigil like structures, because they also look like sigils and languages that we're trying to basically entrain people to reinforce negative habits. Very tree of death like, where they're trying to trick you to stay in your negative emotions, negative commotion, so that you feed their false realm instead of the angelic realm. So they want you to over-identify with your previous traumas, wounds, guilts, victimizations, the new statute of limitations on our old victimizations. To help us be free of any of those negative verdicts that you might have placed upon yourself. To help you transmute, rebuke any negative time bending sequences that may have been emanated from those stones that were trying to bend people towards this darker will of a shadow puppeteer structure or shadow elite entity vision enforcer. Almost reminds of like a dark warden, like prison vibe energy. Anything that was trying to keep us or humanity in any kind of like mental emotional prison, and trying to say that, trying to convince us that we deserve to be there, that it's our punishment, or is this what we created? And it's like, no, F you. It's like made us up to deconstruct any of those false fences around any of our energetic matrix prisons. Any, as the angels help us to quarantine, create a healthy distinction, delineation between us and any negative demonic wardens or shadow ET wardens to be counteracted, detained. Positive galactic infinity intelligences coming in with that group from Exiliatar, Exodian, taller legions of Elfheim, Norse guardians with their big shields of light, and they're creating big mirrored shields and positive crystal patterns that grow, healthy walls of buffering between us and any of those lower realms of those installations I just mentioned, so we can be free and break out and diminish the size of any of these negative jail cells, any quantum nano jail cells, any astrodemonic negative mnemonic reinforcer devices. to be removed, so that we know that there's not really any bars holding us, as if they were just trying to trap people in this circle of frequencies and these dark stones. But meanwhile, they were just using your own shadow against you, or previous shadow that they built in other time periods as like a representation of their previous success, to try to garner more success. And now to be reversed, it's like, no, we're not choosing to be part of that dark book of time. We're not an extension of any of their dark iterations. We unwrite ourselves out of any of their shadow books. We put actually opposite, right, and positive light symbols, sigils, galactic infinity, love light energies to converge there to create a beautiful quantum infinity wave and reverse the tide against them, like dominoes collapsing back upon them, entropy mirrored back upon them, with this infinity light cascade. Positive stone circles, a galactic light language, galactic infinity intelligences crystallize on it. The chapters of other planetary history that are beautiful and loving, that want to come to us to support us, to remind us as star people that we have a whole other libraries of galactic version of Alexandria we can tune into, although the planets that want to send us support, like a living wave of memory records of positive events, successes on our native homeworlds, that want to give us a wave of support that can go retroactively to knock down these shadow encampments that these idiots have built in time, these negative groups. Secret Spurs programs different groups have built, and to help us to send this wave of love to reclaim our river of time from any of these shadow military facilities that have built these little encampments around it. Say, no, you're not going to tap into our sacred river of time or try to contaminate or manipulate it. This is one for all for one, like rainbow wheel, rainbow love, white light. To a positive crystalline, that's all elven guardians, Exiliatar, Thor, Odin, Vishnu, Ra. It's like almost like iceberg crystals coming out from the sides of the river of time, shooting upward to block off the negative military groups, shadow elite groups from accessing or hacking into that sacred realm, or hacking into your own personal time corridor, time river, collectively for the part that we're holding space for the highest good. Develop this counter offense, sacred love light defense of insulating our river of time from any negative slime. It's like the lightning path of the tree of life, but going down the river of time. And when the lightning bolt hits like the Sephiroth in our tree of life in the river of time, it creates these beautiful crystallizations that just reinforce the brilliance of like the Garden of Eden, this higher Eden kind of realm. Ascension realm is taking precedence over the negative informants, insurgents, great coalitions. It's like we're building a fortress of love and time, they're saying. That's like, it's like an extension of the idea of like the new kingdom and Revelations, extension of sacred geometry of our new love-infused society, represented geometrically, radiating backward in time like a tree of roots and branches, reclaiming the whole terrain, so that we can multiply these positive structures in time, like light cities, crystal cities. Positive galactic beings can be with us retroactively, but nope, this is now a love planet. This is not a shadow encrusted world anymore. We're taking back our victory. Love light. Starting the process. This is obviously going to take a few years, they said, but this is starting the process of this next wave. Crystalline love brigade, who creates these crystalline walls that are almost like two-way mirrors, so we can see through them, but the dark can't see us in that ravine of time, so we could properly strategically. Man, this Exiliatar Zariathon, higher 4D, positive 4D template builders group, which also have that kind of galactic elven feature. Zariathon, Exiliatar, to help us build these beautiful extension of infinity's love into our field of time. It's beautiful. You keep breathing there. You can release if you need to release St. Jim. It's good. It might be emotional for some people. Let it out. The past hindrances that we've kind of built, almost like comfort zones around our own damming, around dams we've had in our own body that have been created from things we've been exposed to or taken on. saying it was almost like clearing out, they're calling it clearing out any negative infinity buffers. Anything that was trying to buffer your connection to infinity in a negative way and have it reinforced by thinking, making you think like, oh, it's just a galactic shadow empire cemetery that you're connected to. It's like, no, fuck you. It's like, we're here for galactic love light, party zone of interconnected love worlds. Not some dark sorcerer's fantasy. Conjuring to be diminished. Guys, fill up as clear out any negative interference coming from any negative gargoyle looking like beings, anything from Southern Cross, any negative super soldier clone projects, and this is a whole longer story to get into this video, and any negative dark super soldier creations from Southern Cross constellation that might have been involved in this type of timeline warfare. Angels help us to counter. Galactic Auxiliatar, Thor, Odin, Arcturus, Saturn, Safkiel, Starheart, Guardians of Saturn, Zedek, Jupiter, to send more support to set us free, to connect to positive infinity, divinity, to dissolve any negative void energies around us, any like negative vacuum voids that we're trying to create this gap of connection between us and love erection. This help us to remove any shadow rings that had this negative vacuum energy in it to be removed from us, from any part of the earth that's ready to let that go. Any negatively correlated shadow rings filled with any kind of void space energy to be deconstructed, covered, removed. Almost reminds me of like in Lord of the Rings when what's his name, when the Hobbit takes the eye and starts to get hypnotized by them, and Gandalf has to come and put the blanket over it so he doesn't get so you don't get mesmerized by the shadow eye. And so they're putting these covers around that dark ring. It's kind of like horizontally around part of the earth or any of our fields or any of our cities. That's the angels help us remove any of this. It's such a calling card of the Southern Cross group. This has come up before for people that were connected to that negative, because there's two negative ET planets that are in Southern Cross. One looks like the Shadow Reapers, almost like Grim Reapers. Another one that's they're like the counterbalance in a negative way to attempt to set people in Orion. But they were working on a project I saw a few years ago where they were making this like dark super soldiers that were made from negative DNA from all these different negative ET species combined together to try to make this. It was a whole longer plot. But anyway, I started seeing some of them with this like overlay of like gargoyle demonic energy that were, because let me make a preface. This dark void energy is a calling signature of the Southern Cross group, where they work with black goo, but they also work with this negative void space where they try to create this sense of void or emptiness. Think of like if you're in a room and then there's a vacuum outside your room and then there's another room outside it. And you can't hear anyone because sound's not going to travel through the vacuum. So it's like releasing any of this artificial moat, like a moat around your castle, where they're trying to make you not hear or be able to or transmit to your kingdom. So it's like they're trying to like do that to Gaia, or they're trying to create that cock block, so to speak. It's like that moat block around her, so that the star nations and her can't properly fully converse like they normally could. So it's like asking to release any shadow rings, anything that was trying to create a decrease in our mobility, permeability, flexibility, to move from one lower quantum state to a higher natural vibratory love state. It's like as if they were trying to clog our third chakras from making that quantum leap to the heart. So it's like doing that around the earth. So help us release, and you guys help us to deconstruct any of these shadow wreaths. It says almost like a version of the Christ crown of wreath, of the wreath of the horn of crowns, but like a shadow version of that. So it's like the Christianity thing, we're like, so it's almost like linking people to like a martyrdom, a lower Pisces martyrdom of like a shadow toroidal field of like, linking up martyred energy. That's so messed up. That's why he just help us to remove any shadow structures of Christianity that are for highest good removed that relate to this. Anything that was negating our true connection or our crown to properly flower in love instead of pain. To help us remove any of these shadow toroidal fields that were trying to limit us and have people so emoed up in our own depression that we forgot about our true connection. Help us remove any of these shadow thwarting structures from our crown, from Gaia's body. Speaking about COVID corona, huh? Help us remove any kind of negative victimized toroidal rings. Especially any of the martyred sequences in time that were feeding into that ring, that were kind of like reinforcing negative iteration, mirroring the people. So people felt like they had nothing else to do but do that choice that's being presented to them. It's like part of that collective manipulation going on, you know, almost like refracting that same lie over and over again in different angles and different charges, so people feel like there's no other choice, you know. So it's like helping us to release any of that kind of quantum nano prism, mind control, technocracy, theocracy methodology. Well, yeah, it's gonna look at it's important. We're identifying some dark stuff so we can clear it. So this is like more like warrior circle, not like a normal public group meditation. So there's also clearing out from that shadow ring, that shadow like crown, that crown of like, it's like almost like a crown of like the, you know, shadow mother and like anti-Christos energy instead of like love Christ energy. It's like this like despair and like just like the cries of, it's like the cries of Mary that's supposed to be healing. It's almost like the cries of the mother that just keeps creating more misshapen creation, like shadow genetics, shadow distortions. It's like trying to distort the idea of the mother's love to give permission to create all this weird, like, you know, dark Titan type energy, if you would, instead of positive Titans, you know. And it seemed like that the different thorns on that toroidal reef or that donut shape were like they were trying to take energy of people that were dying from the COVID deaths and have them like be dedicated to these certain dark thorns, you know, that represented like almost like the list of 9/11 victims in the memorial wall. And it's like, here, these are people that died, you know, in your name, or this, you have to take care of, you have to like, you know, you have to think about them, you know, like, you know, to help others not go there, you know. It's that kind of programming of like dark martyrdom ritual energy. So asking to free yourselves from any kind of negative crystallization of any shadow programs relating to this dark wreath. Divine Mother Mary, Isis Shekinah, Sana Kamara Shekinah, Shekinah, Isis Shekinah, Ma'at Shekinah, help us to clean out our arena. Send healing energy to unpluck ourselves, they're saying. Imagine if you have like a toroidal ring around you, they want to clean out any projection of like the group. What's that? Not psychopompous. What's it called? It's old magical word. That's okay. As they clear out any localized projection of that group thought form of these shadow rings with the negative horns, like as if they're trying to like almost like impale us in like this negative inner tube, so that we're stuck in this dark section of the Pisces ocean instead of going into the air of Aquarius, you know, with the sunlight helping us to shift our frequency the way that the sunlight helps to make water evaporate into steam, right, to form beautiful puffy white clouds. As the angels help us to pull out any of those thorns from our body so that we can be free of any canvas of victimization or negative assertion. So it's almost like an orbital ring that's trying to block your field. So as they breathe in, as if you can like, as if they're pulling off any negative horns from your stomach, from your center of power. They don't have to over-identify with any ancestors or any victimized groups or past feeling of any failures or past conflicts. You can be with your inner child to swim in a beautiful ocean. Positive inner tubes of beautiful Mediterranean, Caribbean light healing motions to heal any part of your body that might have had those cactus-like thorns or rose bush thorns in you, to be gently pulled out, healed, that love doesn't have to be balanced with punishment, to release any of that kind of like no pain, no gain type of programming. Like, oh, in order to achieve happiness, you have to have martyrdom, you know? It's like to release any lower coupling of the idea of martyrdom, victimization, segregation. Can you get my tissue? Yeah. Remove any negative quantum pumping, star heart thumping. So the angels giving you beautiful crystals in your body to help you remember what love feels like, to ground in there. So you can weave beautiful light into your body. Put it off your head. Put your head up. Wow, we got into some heavy stuff today. Talk about purging the underworld here. Jesus Christ. You need some water and some brownies next, please. Right? I'm trying to do something. Woof. Almost there. Wow. This is good shit, though. We hit some really deep collective drama.
Yeah, nice. That's how much.
Right? That Thomas stuff is intense, dude.
You get those person?
Oh. Aside from my altar, this. Is there any in my room? No.
You know what? I
have a piece. Oh, you're right there. Like on that altar too. If you want to know. Yeah, maybe. That's a feel. Yeah, that's okay to get.
Oh.
Hold that one. Hold the rose quartz one.
Hold it over your head.
What are you seeing there for you? What's coming up?
Well, I can tell you, I saw a lot of things.
Yeah.
What's coming out of me is, I'm in the monastery of Michael.
Okay, I felt that. Okay, good.
I bought the big picture. It started touching my left shoulder. Then I went to the black picture. It turned white. It's a blasting of sun from the black that I should see. This picture is black. It's just drawing. I have it.
Nice. Oh, no, we're still doing the meditations. Okay? Later. Yeah. Releasing the. Oh. Oof. Gaia Shekinah, Pachamama Shekinah. Continue to help us anchor more love light into our arena. Birds, doves are coming. A lot of doves. Positive Holy Mother spirit energy. Dove clan. Swan clan. And just further help us continue to free us and any part of the ocean of Gaia from any negative shadow frequency pumping systems. Seeing a lot more of them in the ocean. It'll help us to begin to quarantine. Dolphin clan, Eagle clan, Hawk clan, help us remove any of these negative, like the similar to those pumps that are around our island, but I'm seeing them in like the Atlantic Ocean. Some other areas. Angels guys help us for highest good. Help us clean any negative infinity wave transmitters. Any negative infinity wave transmitters. It's like that they're trying to transmit energy from negative worlds into those structures into the ocean, like weird, like fucking, and it's some twisted ass, like time anchoring and negative space kind of referencing. Angels help us to. Yeah, it's kind of like a negative ET wants to like play like a freaking reality show from the dark planet and broadcast it to us or something. And I was like, no, we don't need to tune into any dark reality shows from any negative ET planets TV stations or like Shadow Empire Desires. It's like, no, we're here for the Galactic Love Light ecosystem whole show. Guides, Starheart allies, help us to cut these negative quantum ties between any negative satellites and those buoys. Starheart quantum torches to shine, victory, love, light, divine. So our legions of Exiliatar, Chronos, Metatron can come through that positive crystallization of light coming from the upper atmosphere, from Gaia's natural geometric love light structures down to the ground, down to the ocean. Kind of like troops rolling in of love and light, descending from the higher realms, higher heart realms. Help us to quarantine, remove, safely dispose of any of those negative infinity wave generators, transducers, pulsators, emitters. To remove any of those shadow infinity pumps that were trying to make us into some negative unholy dumps to be removed, transmuted. Also, angels help us disconnect any of those negative buoys that were in the ocean that were connecting or receiving signals from negative ET ships. They're correcting me, the guides. They said that these certain negative ET ships that were kind of in orbit or hovering or pulsing it out, they had what they call those shadow infinity field generators that we're trying to pump in that energy into the local buoys that were in the ocean, almost like a relay system. So that's to disconnect the break the relay circuitry, the relay signal pathway. Positive quantum star heart mirrors. They reflect love and light symmetries. Flowers, beautiful, beautiful flowers are coming and surrounding oceanic priestesses, sprites, fairies, growing flowers, lotuses that form almost like, think of like a white blood cells attacking a virus or mucus forming around an invasive object. It's like the beautiful flowers are forming, rising from the ocean and covering those negative devices so they can be cut off. like Gaia regrowing her nature around the negative technology, but nope. This is my planet, bitch. You can't take over this side. I choose not to allot this part of the spectrum to your broadcast. It's like FCC for Gaia, say taking back that bandwidth.
Rainbow astral vaccines.
Exactly. True love. Oh my God. True love light injection into time. Wow. So cleaning out, covering up any of those shadow infinity mirrors. This feels very similar to that phantom stuff we're dealing with recently, that phantom energy technology, because we're seeing that they were using satellites and ground technology to kind of relay like energy from negative timelines through the satellites that had like a spherical technology with like panels on it, and anyway, this might just be similar because I'm like, wow, this is really similar methodology. These guys further help us shine. Infinities, love, light. Lotus shield, infinities, love, light, lotus shield, to come down on all these beautiful towers around the earth, around us. Quantum nano shields, the beautiful lotuses, purple, white, pink, love and light, crystal flowers. They're growing in these beautiful tall towers. And the guardians of infinity's presence, beautiful like interplanetary, galactic, angelic beings. Holy Mother angel beings they're almost like tall. They're beautiful beings that are coming in that are here to help. They're part of the team. They're here to help usher in, like the age of Aquarius, like the transition from our old home to the new home, like almost like precessional walking of beautiful, regal, divine beings, similar to the Zendarian, beautiful galactic beings, angelic kind of royal court, beautiful beings that want to help us make that transition from the house of Pisces to the house of Aquarius with loving Christ, Sophia, Mary energy. Infinity Love Light Brigade to help us continue to deconstruct any and all the shadow charade, to arrest and detain any negative brigade. And help us heal and course correct any negative infinity swapping, they're saying. Anything that might have been swapped that's supposed to be given back to the earth and us. In other words, any like kind of like what they were doing with that phantom energy, where they're trying to trick people to give authentic energy to replace it with fake energy, like a Hollywood glamour version. This feels something similar, but a little different. It's almost like where they were trying to trick, almost like pixelations around the earth to hold an image of negative ET world instead of positive ascendant worlds connections. That's really fucking that's so nasty. So any kind of negative infinity swapping, where they're trying to swap out like the holographic building material, say of a temple, saying, oh, like you thought you were in the New Kingdom. Oh, you're like a Mordor's castle instead,
Like I go and like hug the thing and like, oh, I thought you were my daddy.
Yeah. All of a sudden you start seeing it's like the bricks in the wall start shifting. You're seeing like scary faces coming through instead of light faces. So it's like clearing out any of this kind of negative pixelated building matter, any negative quantum swapping, any negative infinity swapping, to be replaced with its authentic positive star nation correlation affiliation, to fill up. So it's like a beautiful rainbow temple of the Confederation of Planets, where all the bricks and crystal building blocks reflects our true ancestry of galactic glamour, of galactic glory, galactic beauty, galactic support, affirmation, confirmation. Galactic Infinity Wave Brigade. to help us ground this energy through this lunar cycle of the new moon to the next lunar cycle. May it expand like a love light balloon to safeguard our passage from into this new wheel of time where there's new like astral temples of each sign of the zodiac. Give us a chance to kind of be prepared to enter the new cycle more fulfillingly. It's like fulfilling our astral criteria to be able to ground the new love light material. Astral infinity framework. Astral infinity framework to surround us. Astral infinity framework. Like the divine light, divine from almost like the cartouche in the Egyptian name, their protection of the divine oneness. Astral infinity framework, 11 light. Protect the sovereignty of our ecosystem through this night. And dropping down beautiful, wow, like vertical descending sky columns, bricks of giant positive, like swirls becoming like component walls for our new architectural parameters, our new light city, geometry, fortress walls forming around us, different locations. And banging some of the priestesses coming and banging staffs into the ground to plant these new towers of light that can plug into Gaia as new streams, like as if we're making a hole in the ground to tap water, find a geyser or a fountain, a water spring, and then these crystal towers harness that energy and help radiate it like a almost like a lawn sprinkler system. It's with towers and discs above it that spin to help clean out certain layers above us, around us. Almost like a beautiful crocheting of the new light, connecting us to infinity upon this night. Putting discs of light in the ground like little crystalline manhole covers to adjust the connection to inner earth love erection. Fountain of perfection. This grand galactic kind of assembly structure. Just breathe in. We'll do a yam together for the heart chakra. Quantum nano infinity frameworks of light being added to that vertebrae structure we talked about before, going deep down to the earth to create more of the healthy infrastructure for these new pillars of light to be able to anchor into stronger foundational realms where they won't be deteriorated by previous negative temporal dissociation. That was like that negative akashic energy that was stored in the crystals that was creating almost like the negative friction, push and pull, constriction that was making it harder for these new pillars of light that we've been working on the past several years from fully grounding properly. It's like building a beautiful skyscraper but with a faulty foundation. It's going to collapse. So it's like cleaning out the temporal framework below ground to support the spatial erection of that new construct. So that's a trippy ass idea. So it's like space and time need to work together, right? To build something in space, you need to have cooperation from time. So it's like we're like creating more cooperation in time from time to support a beautiful edifice divine to be stable in space, right? To support more grace. That's really beautiful. Wow. So it's like seeing that like the ground below is like being like time, and above from ground up is space, and it's like this partnership of, as above, so below, as in space, so in time, as in time, so in space. To get this healthy alliance between those two eyes of the two lovers of infinity, eternity, is harmonious. Let's do Ram, third chakra. Grounding more emerald light around us, emerald pink light all around us in the planet, and our locations. Stabilizing love's stations. Stabilizing our calibration to love stations, emanations. May further help grow the way the sunlight helps plants grow. May help this new green 4D, 4 density love light grow. Star Heart City material grow. That quantum star heart pumping coming from positive galactic realms, so Gaia can begin to have a healthy time cycle, healthy biorhythm, circadian rhythm to build with more precision. These new constructs of love-infused matter, love-infused light into form to help us in humanity transform, be reborn. Wow. Let's do Vam for the second chakra. Vam. Positive beings putting all those new positive light crystals in the ground to replace those negative periodic ones with positive. Associated crystal resonators that help receive signals of love from other positive worlds, positive galactic spaceships, star heart craft, gravity waves that are bringing love into the earth. And these structures are coming and help quantumly organize that new inflow, outflow of energy. Love's converging waves into these crystalline geometric devices that are timing of almost like a, say an astronomer knows when to like open up, the telescope aperture on the observatory to see when the star is out to receive the light. So it's almost like there's like a timer. These things are aware of the bigger galactic timing, galactic cycles. So when the energy is being sent, the little geometric devices open up their little aperture to receive light from each direction to help support this kind of almost like this buoyant, let's take the buoy that's not just receiving waves from the ocean, but it's like a galactic buoy, galactic gravity wave buoy. So it's receiving gravity waves of love, integrating it into its little crystal geometry, and then spinning it into the earth. So it's almost like a little pre-digested gravity wave food of love light realms to help us kind of receive the new raw material we need for the new body, for the new earth. Exactly opposite of what we just was getting rid of, basically. So this is what we're supposed to be having, not the other crap. So this is 2024, 2025. Help us to ground our positive timestamps. So we have clear success, clear light, 2025, 2024. All the way up to 2034, 2030, 2034, 2024. Galactic infinity bridges to shine. A pair of priestesses from 2024, 2025. Counter rotating rings of light from those 2 years surrounding the earth, surrounding our moat of our castle. Or like as if Gaia is like a big atom and those rings are spinning to help create a more solid foundation so Gaia can make the quantum leap, can expand her volume of light into this higher orbit, orbital range of love. Stabilize green ray emissions, trigger our latent gifts, emergence, showing all his layers of green, pink, red light into the earth. Feel nature celebrating, elves, fairies dancing, rolling in the flowers. Galactic infinity wind signals caressing the earth's giant towers as if they were like feathers on Gaia's bird body that were functional in terms of grounding the energy like a lightning rod, creating more beautiful constructs, more crystals growing to support her new body, evolution. Wow, it's like a whole new galactic ecosystem of like, think of like the water cycle and like, water evaporating, creating rain, like precipitation, condensation cycle in nature, but like on the next level. It's like because Gaia is becoming part of a galactic environmental ecosystem of like love energy being infused. So it's like this higher acknowledgement of a new integrated interface space between Gaia's former body and her new body, and her new community of relations that are here to help support her new edifications, celebrations of the living divine. Putting all new structures, the grounding more light around the ground of the earth. So these are towers of light, vines of the divine. Think of like a car being stuck in like a, in a deep pit full of mud, and so you need like the tow truck with the cable will help pull her out. So it's like these different like light ships and different galactic beings of the towers are like releasing those new tethers to help almost like tensegrity of like new stable geometry to help Gaia kind of expand out of that lower geometric stuck space into more flexible, like almost like a trampoline embrace, you know. We're just like, oh, I can pop out of that dark rabbit hole into some positive portals here. Love light rabbits only. And that negative ring we cleared before that we're talking about around the earth was kind of like that orbital pit reinforcer. We're trying to keep people in Gaia in a certain like pit or like valley of lower frequency, lower time energy. So as we clear out the ring, it's almost like clearing out the trap that's clearing out the door that the cover, the lid, you know, so we can pop out, you know, from that negative kind of pit. Of course, we need to work on this more, but this is some good templating to inject into Gaia's bioetheric system, and those galactic beings are really happy that we're doing this, so they can continue this trip. Especially, they said the summer is going to be some interest. Well, we're looking up different July, August. They're sending it back in time to July, August 2018 as well. They want to create a positive ring of light from now in the future to 2018, July, August, so that the petals of universal love, lotuses, can expand retroactively in time while still maintaining the center to the eternal here and now, divine. So it's like one lotus creates bigger lotuses that create ripples whose petals engage other time periods and create that solidity, continuity. Like a chainmail of a new light armor, where you feel supported by time instead of fighting it. Galactic Elohim, equilibrium guardians, help us continue to maintain this harmony. Galactic Elohim, equilibrium guardians. Help us fill any gaps in our own body. Get energetic spiritual gills, feathers, chainmail armor. So we're able to come back out of this energy space with more grounded awareness, integration, and your timeline dragon spirits with you, the positive ones, protecting our new annuity. Circle coming together, giving thanks to this beautiful energy, sealing up this beautiful acknowledgement of a giant crystal in the middle, representing love and the Creator's light, shining unified upon this night, broadcasting all these different locations through the earth, from the earth. Like lighting up galactic corridor lighting sequences, like think of like street light towers to light up the streets, so there's no shadow between on the streets. It's like lighting up pathways of galactic lighting, so we can begin to realize again that is here for us. We're not just isolated into some fucking quantum abyss. It's like all right, did we do Om? Yeah. Let's do Om. Oh. Quantum star heart houses, so it's a representation of the bigger fortress we created, helping to co-create with the divine on a quantum level. Quantum star heart houses of the divine, fortress divine, to build these new positive nano love light bricks to support our future and current trips. Positive elven fairy mages, quantum sages, stabilizing it, sealing up the ground below. Quantum iterations flow. These guys continue to celebrate and do more work on the inner earth realms that we started with earlier. And the quantum derivatives of time, they continue to unfold sequences that are divine. A little flowers upon flowers opening, little light beings coming out of it and creating new branches of it, extending the branch of peace and love to us. All different layers. Adjusting to big spin to consolidate it. Violet amethyst light. Help us continue to anchor the sovereignty through night as we give thanks to all these beautiful beings, angels, guides, hosts, quantum love hosts, quantum love rings of Saturn, and continue to spin. It's like beautiful, like warrior, mage, priestesses that are spinning energy. Wow, they just came in really strong. You kind of remember like think of like Mary, Isis, Celtic priestesses that are dressed in cloaks, but they're like warriors, priestesses, you know, spinning like Sufis, like grounding this new spinning rings of light on the earth around us. Create new solidified rings that are like rungs in the spiral of time. New solidified rings that are like rungs in the spiral of time. But as rings, they're like cobblestone road being formed, like stable ground. From these galactic infinity priestesses, Shekinah priestesses, here coming in to help us ground and protect the new infinity corridors. They're going to be increasing the work down between now and 2027, 2028. 9, there's a doorway. Some galactic brothers, sisters. We got galactic positive Saturnian light matrix. It'll be more fully installed and stated. I said 2028, 2029. Like the ship will be fully formed by the end of 2028. So 2029 represents, think of like a massive spacecraft submarine when like the doors you have to kind of like close with the metal vaults, you know, like so the pressure is balanced. It's like these doors on the outer part of the earth like are bridging the galactic. They're saying in 2029. So Gaia's creating her quantum love light ship so she can take the new trip, carrying all of humanity with her that are ready for the trip. Kind of like the idea of like a photon making a quantum leap, you know, to a higher color. So it's like her ship, her Merkaba, and so be able to fully dock with the new orbit of Green Ray, where the arrival like a cruise ship on a port being received by people meeting you at the port, you know, from all different directions. That ground is more solid. They're saying 2028, 2029. Galactic orbital synchrony zone of light synchronized pixelated space. So then we can get off the old trip and be like, okay, our friends are here. 2024, 25 is still important, but this is a bigger, I don't want to say it's a timeline update deviation, but it's definitely I just keep seeing those sisters in 2024 spinning opposite directions to create that, I don't know, like central pump in the Earth's gravity axis to be able to float up on her central axis, almost like a spaceship levitating, you know. But the completion of the rings around the Earth is like 2028, 2029. So it's energy moving up and out. Anyway, we give thanks to beautiful beings, guides, angels, hosts, galactic allies, stabilizing these beautiful green infinity fences, green infinity stones, gateways. We can receive and connect with our cosmic ancestors in all different environments of the earth with this new energy that they want us to keep grounding. This network of like green infinity gateways that are going to be starting to form as like a fractal spiral going into the earth from above, like local reference points for infinity's love for infinity's love's arrival to flourish on all different size scales through these like an outreach program of that spiral and the gateways being built, kind of like an infrastructure. Let's do. Did we skip anything? Did we do hum? I think we did.
Yeah, we didn't do hum.
We didn't do hum?
No, we didn't.
Yum.
Yum.
Okay, let's do hum. Let's do hum. Third chakra hum. Yeah.
Okay, we didn't.
Okay, we'll do hum. Beautiful rainbow bridges being pixelated with new positive association. Stabilizing and like an Easter egg of little light bridges encompassing it. Give thanks to these beautiful beings, guides as hosts, and those priestesses coming to the little ponds of green light, water, and blessing. Give thanks to these beings for receptive vectors once they come. Once they seal what needs to be sealed, adjust what needs adjusted. Shine light into the quantum pits of time, celebratory divine. The stairway of universal love spiral, iteration sequence, initiation. Stabilizing our beautiful dome light city, egg of light. From the seed of life, love of life, spiral out, this focus of a wheel of time, initiate the new cycle divine. So have you Mitakoyasin. We give thanks to the angel guides, hosts who choose to stay, help us ground the energy in our homes, workplace, dream space, dream time, love time, healing time, continued propensity, momentum time, star heart affiliation time, infinity intelligence time, and a deeper partnership with the elementals, quantum divas, partnership of love between the realms, solidified in the here and now, for the different beings and angels guides, setting up energy around us as if we're like the maypole celebration that's coming up in a few weeks. They're moving the new threads of light around us to seal that energy of all that which we've gathered. Tendrils of love embrace. We continue to permeate our space. And we'd also continue to repair and neutralize any phantom flower sequences. Only positive, authentic light flowers may grow. And our infinity tower, halo. Safeguard the terrain, Exiliatar, Exodian, Hera, Athena, Freya, grounding, coming in new Arcturian guardians coming in to protect some of the new pathways. Infinity's light bridges to our local areas, cities. Freya, Odin, Valkyries. For Odin Vishnura, stabilizing our new house of Ka. Different guardians protecting that new kingdom sanctuary space full of love. New zodiac wheel, love and light. Stabilizing it. We each come back out through that respective orb of light, back into our own body, the spinning lotus orb. Help you pixelate back through your own room of sacred mirrors. Flowers growing. Thanks. We'll do a hue for the crown chakra, hue or oo, dolphin energy. Mary, breathe in, Wankin Tonkins, what it be Mitakoyasin, give thanks, one infinite creator, all of his representatives, creations, someone to be. Celebrate it in our new love light, halo. Breathe in, clap our hands 3 times, and pat your body. Last image, Star Heart Guardians of Infinity's Love Halo. Wow. Star Heart Guardians of Love's Infinity Halo. That's what they're putting back around the Earth as that replacement for that shadow one. So it's like Gaia getting her new halo. Star Heart Guardians of Love's Infinity Halo. So it's like a halo that connects Gaia to more loving energy from infinity, and the guardians around it to help protect those points of her crown. They give thanks to us. 1 more clap. Wow, this shit was like culminating work we've done over years into one event, right? It felt like we were like intersection points of like stuff in the past few years.
This what happened on that one time.
Yeah, right, exactly. Thank you. Speaking about timing sequences, stop the recorder there so that way people can talk, because last time I'm gonna put it on YouTube.